earlier. Overplay. 313, I think it was. Let's see, Nabil Bassa is actually literally flying 308. Whoa. Your 308 is just getting faster and faster. The car hasn't got anything as fancy as people think it's made out to be. It's got a girdle kit at the bottom. It's got main bearing caps, obviously ARP bolts. It's got eagle conrods with some fancy conrod bolts. It's got Wasner pistons that are off the shelf, nothing custom. It's got an L-ring head gasket that we bought from our good friend Shiren at Goldwagon. And it's got 10mm head studs, ARP. The transmission in the car is a 6-speed custom-made transmission built by Transaxle, Uncle Ken, he seems to have a very soft spot for Nabil. You know, we asked Ken to build us 4 shafts initially when we built the car. And I think 8 days later, Ken phoned us to tell us the shafts were ready. And nobody believed the turnaround time. 1 month later, Ken told us the box is on the bench, I'm testing it. And that was the first production box of that sequential type dog engagement, straight cut gearbox that Ken built. I don't know if Uncle Ken realized the kind of horsepower levels I told him, but I don't think he really believed me a 4-cylinder engine will be able to get to that kind of numbers. Okay, name is Ahmed Bassa. I'm 61 years old. I'm one of the directors of ABC Motorsport, which we also trade under SpeedShop. The other director is my younger brother, 10 years younger than me, Azad Bassa. The car story has been a hobby of mine from the time I was a little kid. The inspiration came from one of my cousins in Johannesburg that owns a company called Munir Customizing. I spent a lot of my school holidays at his house. Yeah, it's got a FSI crank, so that takes us to 2 liter. It's running 82.5mm bore. It's the original base engine is the 1.8 Golf 4 engine, 20 valve, right? There's very little of the original engine left, you know, the original VW parts. The VW parts is the block, the bay head, the block, the bay head, and the FSI crank. The rest of it is all mostly aftermarket, right? The cams are from an old dear friend of mine that I've known for the last probably 30 years, guy by the name of Nellis Turin. Nabil, crosses him, man. Track like this, getting to us, I think he's getting there. 303.1 kilometer. That's Nabil Bassa for SpeedShop.
Well, I can't really tell you what power it makes because on the dyno it just lights the tires when it gets to about 580 horsepower. And it's got sequential gearbox and basically everything. There's nothing more you can put into it. But there's nothing more you can put into it, but it's still a full street car. It's got It's still got a full sound system in the car.
No.
It's got the full interior.
Walk to it and open it. Let's see. Own stock inside.
Yeah.
You know, when you rev an engine, we're revving the engine to 8,000 RPM now, right? My opinion, the VW engine, when you rev it past 8,000 RPM, you pick up reliability problems, right? And like I said, we work hard for our money, and we try to stay as honest as we can. In our industry, the temptation to do stupid things is there every day. We try to stay away from that. So I don't want to waste money. If I start revving the engine to 9 and 9,500 RPM, I got issues with oil pressure. I got issues with things breaking, because the faster you rev the engine, the piston speed goes through the roof. We're running a very long stroke on the VWs, you have to. So when that happens, things start breaking. And reliability is an essence to me. You know, this car does at average between 500 and 1,000 kilometers a month on the street as the everyday driver. Every month, that's what keeps the car reliable for me. Because we don't take it out only to a race meeting. Nabil will drive this car home at least once or twice a week and drive it back to the workshop.
The roll cage and the exhaust was the only things the car got sent out the shop to do. So the roll cage was done by BRC Customs. Exhaust was done by a company called LM Racing.
We've got ideas of where we need to go. One, the vehicle doesn't have any aerodynamic assistance. It's still got normal undercarriage, no flat bottom, no air direction. So it's something that we need to look at if we want to address where we want to go. We've got a target that one of my friends that also nurtures Nabil and mentors Nabil says that maybe we should try for a 200-mile terminal on the 800. So that's our new target. Yeah, 200 miles is 320 kilometers. So that's going to be our next venture. But we got a lot of work to do before we can get there. There still is more, how can I say, more horsepower in the car. Right now, we don't even know what kind of power the car makes. I've done a little bit of calculations using physics, you know, speed and weight over distance and things like that. And I've calculated the car should be a little bit north of 900 horsepower. Maybe a little bit more, I'm not sure, but I rather underestimate it. From our calculations where we're boosting the car, there is another 250 to 300 horsepower that we can possibly get to. We're boosting the car harder than anybody has ever boosted a car that I know of in South Africa. That we'll keep quiet about it right now, right? When we achieve those other goals and I know I'm at my limit, I will tell you all. Right? So the times on the quarter now will get better. We know there's a lot of areas that we can improve in. We will address those issues. Part of the problem is we're very reluctant to alter the shape of the car. And we want the car to stay 100% road legal.
As it stands, this is a 100% road legal car.
This is a 100% road legal car. It runs on dual fuel. I can go to a fuel pump at any garage in the country, fill the tank up and drive the car for wherever I need to drive the car to. When we get to the racetrack, we run the car on E85, which is basically 85% ethanol and 15% pump fuel. We don't run fancy mixes in the car. We've never done that kind of stuff. I've stayed away from illegal types of fuels. Repeatability and reliability is of paramount importance for me.
Do you think that you embodying that spirit of repeatability and reliability helped your business succeed? Like that people know that SpeedShop is a trusted and reliable brand?
You know, in this industry, we have a lot of egos, right? Everybody has got a yes say about somebody else and somebody else. I try to stay out of the controversy. I don't trout for anybody. I don't trout for myself. You'll never hear us bragging about us doing this or doing that. We set goals. We don't let the goals become public goals, right? I told you now about the 250 kilometers now quarter mile and the 800 meter 300. The people closest to me know that's been my objective for quite a while, right? Now I'm saying it because it has been achieved. I wouldn't have ever mentioned it outside our inner circuit before we achieve it. It's everything is the Almighty's will, is Allah's will, whether you like it or not. Everything that happens in the world, if you want something bad for you, I really and truly believe the Almighty doesn't let it happen. You will persist and try and do that bad thing for yourself, and eventually you'll accomplish what you're not supposed to have accomplished. You know, there's been times where we set goals to go to an event and things go wrong. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. And then I put my hands up and I say, listen, it's not meant for us to go. What are we chasing? Maybe there's something worse supposed to happen for us, something bad supposed to happen to us, and let's just back out of this thing.
Do you think that you were hard on Nabil as a son because of, what you...
I am the hardest. We've got a number of staff over here. I am the hardest on Nabil because I expect him to do the thing. He's responsible for a lot of households. I won't mention how many staff, but we've got a lot of staff in the shop, and a lot of them feed their families. So the bottom line is, Nabil is the future of this business. He decided not to go to university. He had all the opportunities. He decided not to go to university. He decided he wants to be here in the shop because of continuity and whatever else. So he's got to face that responsibility down the line.